Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, I asked many of you, who do you think should take on Andrew Wilson? And a lot of people feel Brother Daniel Hakikaju would do a great job. And I agree with that. Daniel's experience with dealing with people like Destiny and Vosh, and this could help him. Not that he really needs help because he's had so many debates, but this could really, how do I put it? Okay, so he's spoken to David Wood, AP, Harris Sultan, so he's not new to that kind of rodeo. So definitely, Brother Daniel could go at it with Andrew Wilson. I watched the Muslim Lantern talk to Andrew, but Andrew kind of rage quit, and it was not long, and the brother had lots of patience with the disrespect that Andrew did. But I would like to see Andrew and someone like, even, we got Daniel, obviously. Muhammad Hijab, I think, would do okay. But I think Brother Muhammad Hijab would be more professional, whereas Andrew would be more vulgar. And I just don't think it would match really well. Ali Dawa, I don't think, would have the intellectual wit, the rapid fire witticisms, and the on the spot composure, because Wilson he's fast. You're gonna be 10 toes down. He's coming at you rapid fire, and he's looking for you to trip up and make a mistake so he can pin you down and mock you and dunk on you. So you need someone who has knowledge and is able to get it from their mind in a speedily accurate, swift motion. And so I would really enjoy seeing Abdul Rahman Hassan, who's very analytical, in my opinion, and very well composed, talk to Andrew Wilson, have a productive conversation. And it would be good to see it, because we need someone to kind of put Andrew Wilson in his place. He's really climbed quite highly in the ladder of social media. He got so much attention from Piers Morgan and from the Whatever podcast, and he argues with whores for a lot of his living, because he gets super chats, and he goes viral for dunking on feminist prostitutes, pretty much. So they're not really intellectual powerhouses. And he has debated AP. I watched that debate, but in the end, I haven't seen a really solid bout from the Islamic perspective go on with Andrew Wilson. And some people who maybe live in other countries are like, who cares? What does it matter? Well, it matters for Western Muslims, I'd argue, greatly, because Andrew Wilson, he has mocked the plight of the Palestinians. His wife, Rachel Wilson, and him, they don't have anything nice to say about us, and they see us as a threat. It's no small thing for us. And I know some people might say, oh, after 9/11, how could any Muslim ever feel intimidated? They got through all that, and now we're past that, and Muslims should never expect to have any defenders, and we don't need them to defend believers. But I disagree greatly, because you have people who are going to junior high and high school, and they live in the digital era, and their faith can become weak when they don't see any real defenders. Because with these parasocial relationships, people really want to have someone whom they can call on digitally to be like, oh, so-and-so's refuted this. So I know you have people like Fareed Responds. Although I've never seen him in a live debate like that. I think he does what they call Twitter Spaces. I'm not sure, but Brother Jake Brancatella, he argues with Christians quite a lot. And he is very knowledgeable about the Trinity, so, I think he could do well as well. And since Brother Daniel and Brother Jake have both been on the PBD podcast, which is a Zionist Christian podcast with Adam the J on there as well, who devoutly hates us believers, so they are familiar with that energy of animosity. They're no stranger to it. So we already know we got Brother Daniel and Brother Jake, who could definitely go up against Orthodox Andrew Wilson. But it would be cool to see Wajdi, Sajid, even Bro Haji. He talks a lot about the charity sector and scams, but he seems to also really favor looking at hadiths, reading Arabic, and going back to main sources. So maybe it'd be time for him to do that as well. So I think that would be awesome to see those brothers have their mettle tested. Because Speaker's Corner is different than, dealing with American Christians. I don't think I would vibe really well with the chaotic environment of Speaker's Corner. I would get really defensive. I would probably end up getting into a fight. I can't, someone getting tense with you, right in your face, trying to intimidate you. Growing up in Philly, there's like a reptilian response of like, you got 10 seconds to back up. And, it's just not conducive for my bad temperament. But digitally, through Zoom or Streamlabs, or even on a panel where there's a moderator, it's quite different and more mellow, tame, and relaxed. So brothers who are tame in their academic sense, I think would thrive in a moderated discussion, debate with Andrew Wilson. And I want to see him just get crushed by a good brother. And I want to see more content from some of the believers. Because we are in an information war. And propaganda is an art. And the word propaganda has negative and positive connotations. But what I'm trying to imply is that we're in a media age, and sharing good videos and lectures and refutations, rhetoric in general, documentaries, you name it, with people helps to reduce the hatred that the white supremacist Magatardian Christians try to stir up. When you have Elon Musk retweeting anti-Islam accounts, Tommy Robinson and others, this creates a animosity towards the believers. He's got a lot of followers, many I'm sure are bots, but still, this is a guy who meddles in elections around the world, and he is not a fan of us. And you have Anthony Brian Logan, Officer Tatum, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh. I mean, if you go down the list of how many American influencers have said terrible things about Muslims and genuinely hate us, I'd argue that this is when American Muslims, who are not innovators, who are not shirk apologists, who are more orthodox, who love Islam and the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything about Islam. They're not revisionist, liberal, progressive, male or female feminists, orthodox peeps. I really do feel we need them to come more forward. And it's time that the young people have that champion. The UK has that already with Muhammad Hijab, although I'm sure he needs more people in his community to come up. And Shamsi, he's really good at Speaker's Corner, but he has a heavy accent that it's very hard to understand him. Bless him and help him to improve. Oh, I'm sure if I tried to speak Arabic, I would have a weird accent too. So I can't be too harsh. But you got to be able to be really good in your English skills. Brother Muhammad Hijab has that, which is great. So you got to be able to understand the person that you're talking to and have them understand you. And I don't think Shamsi would do well in a situation like that, because if you spend too much time deciphering what someone said, it doesn't really make the conversation roll in a swift bout exchange. So we need someone quick-witted with a silk tongue that is able to enunciate English properly so that English-speaking natives can see what's going on here and comprehend what is occurring without spending too much time deciphering what was said and rereading captions that probably won't capture what was said either. So let me know. There also might be a speaker who I've never heard of, a sheikh I never heard of, from where you're from, who you might think could be awesome, and you can then drop their name, and then we all can research them. So go ahead and do that as well. Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and join the blog.